Hello, everyone. Sorry we're a little late starting today. Welcome. I'm Nicole from Crowdfunder. For obvious reasons, we can't hold our workshops on location at the moment, so we're bringing them to you from our homes straight into your homes. So hopefully by the end of today's workshop, you'll leave knowing a little bit more about crowdfunding and the Active Together Fund to prepare you to crowdfund for your sports organisation. At the end, we'll send you a link to our Learn platform. There we'll show you how to crowdfund, giving you the tools to raise money to make your ideas happen. Just some quick housekeeping points before we get started. We've got about 30 minutes today, depending on how many questions or how much chat we have at the end. If you do want to ask a question, type it in the chat box to the right of your screen. We'll make sure we get through as many of those as we can at the Q&A at the end. And finally, in case you're wondering, we cannot see you. You can see us, but we cannot see you. So today we're going to hear from one of our crowdfunding coaches, Chloe. And we're also going to hear from someone who's crowdfunded before. They have been there, they've got the t-shirt. We'll find out what worked and what didn't work in making their campaign a success. So now, without further ado, let me introduce Chloe. Chloe, are you here?
Hello.
Hey, Chloe, how are you doing?
I'm very well, thank you. How are you?
Yeah, good, thank you. Not too bad at all. So, firstly, for those who don't know, can you tell us a bit more about crowdfunding?
Yeah, of course. So crowdfunding is a great way of raising money and awareness for your organisation through engaging with the community. You will set up a page on our online platform in which you'll talk about who you are as an organisation, your impact in the community, and why you're crowdfunding. So for the majority of you here, that will be the effects of COVID-19 on your organisation. Tell us how you intend to spend that money that you raise as well, and how that's going to help, because all of that helps in encouraging people to support you. You will also be able to add images and videos to make your page really engaging and add a bit more personality, and you'll be able to add rewards as well. As you mentioned, Nicole, if anyone has any questions about how to create a crowdfunding campaign, we have got an online learning platform that will help you along the way. We've also put together a guide for crowdfunding for sport. And if you've still got questions, you'll have the opportunity to speak to me. I'm a coach here, so here to help along the way as well. I mentioned rewards. We are the top rewards-based crowdfunding platform, and that means that we enable our projects to offer rewards as well as your standard donation that I think most people associate with fundraising. So let me give you an example. Aston Ingham Cricket Club, this is them, they put together a page because they, like many of you, were affected by the coronavirus crisis, and they decided to fundraise to keep their club afloat. They created a great page with loads of images, loads of detail about who they are as a club and what they do in the community. They had a video on there as well, but my favourite part of their campaign was their rewards. They really thought about who their audience would be. So they had some rewards targeted towards the sort of the cricket world, if you like. We had cricket bat refurbishments. They thought about their maybe current sponsors and offered advertising boards. They also had discounts in the clubhouse. But they also thought further afield. How can we attract pledges from those that aren't necessarily already in our cricket world or aren't friends and family? So they contacted local businesses and asked for donations that could be used as rewards. So they spoke to local farm shops and they got punnets of fruit. They had a country walk, an afternoon tea. They even had a holiday in there. So they really thought about who's going to be around to help them achieve their goal. Now, we have joined up with Sport England on an amazing initiative called Crowdfund Sport, with a view to help clubs who have struggled due to the coronavirus crisis. As part of this initiative, we have the active for clubs and organisations that bring sport to the community. There is £10,000 available for each club, up to a maximum of 50% of your target. In the next slide. There we go. So you will start creating your page, and you can apply for the Active Together Fund. Now, it's first worth mentioning that they do review your project page, so make sure you're happy with your page before applying for the fund. Once you've had approval from Sport England, you'll start crowdfunding, and you need to raise at least 25% of your target from a minimum number of required supporters in order for the pledge to be visible on your page. So let me give you an example. I'll choose 10 because that's easy maths for me. So your target's £10,000. That means you need to raise at least 2,500 from 50 supporters. We can see that there on the table. At that point, your Active Together pledge will be visible on your page, and it will go towards your target. Then you need to keep crowdfunding in order to reach 100% of your target, and that will keep that pledge secure. Then you'll have the chance of adding a stretch target. Now, there is no risk when it comes to stretch target. Once you've hit your initial, everything is yours to keep. And then everything you raise towards that stretch is yours to keep as well. It's a great way of making your page not look complete, and gives people a reason to continue supporting you. Now, you guys are at an advantage here because Sport actually crowdfunds really well. And that makes sense to me because crowdfunding is all about sports getting together and cheering for a common goal. And I think the same can be said for a lot of sports as well. So this slide is purely here to demonstrate a range of different sports that have successfully crowdfunded with us and received the Active Together pledge from Sport England. You'll see everything from swimming, cricket clubs, tennis clubs, to scout groups and life-saving patrols as well. So regardless of what sport you guys are practicing, if you're bringing activity to the community, you can crowdfund with us. I will hand back to you, Nicole, if you're still there.
Fab, thank you, Chloe. That was great. Such a good introduction into how it all works. So we'll get Chloe back at the end to do a bit of a Q&A. But in the meantime, we have got our previous project owner, Gemma from Stockport Rugby Club. Hopefully she is there. Gemma, are you there? Hi, Gemma.
Hi, I'm here. Hi.
How are you doing?
Yeah, good, thank you.
Thank you so much for joining us. We really appreciate it.
No problem.
So, Gemma, could you tell us a little bit about your project?
Yeah, so I'm from Stockport Rugby Club. I've grown up at that rugby club. My father played there, my brothers played there, and I've got 3 boys and they all play there. So it's very much a family club for me. I've sort of took an interest in the club in recent years on kind of the events side of things and trying to raise money for the club really by fundraising. So I introduced a fireworks festival in November that we'd normally have, and kind of like a summer beer festival in the summer. We play at level 6. We have a senior section, as probably with most rugby clubs in the last 5-10 years. The senior section has dwindled a little bit, but we're fortunate we have a thriving mini and junior section. So we probably have 330 members, mini and juniors, and we also have a ladies section which is really up and coming, and we have a special needs team as well. So we're positioned in the centre of Bramwell in Stockport, so we've got a really nice grounds in the centre to the community, and we really are we try to be an all-encompassing club really. So although we are just a rugby club, there's no other sport played there, with the events and with hiring out the ground, and we do really try and reach out to kind of bring all the community together to use the facilities that are on offer at Stockport Rugby Club. We obviously have had no rugby since lockdown in March. The club doesn't have a main sponsor. We don't have like kind of a couple of backers. We're not at that level. So the club's sole income normally comes from these two big events that we'd have, one in the winter, one in the summer. And then, of course, weekly bar takings, bar on a Saturday for the games, bar on a Sunday for mini and junior, hiring out the facilities, 40th, 50th, all those kind of things that obviously the pandemic has put a halt to. So the club has just basically had the income tap turned off since March, and we had to cancel the Big Beer and Music Festival in July, hence why we decided to go forward with a crowdfunding project.
I think probably a position that a lot of people watching this today have been in for the last few months. So why did you decide to crowdfund in particular, Gemma?
So crowdfunding's been on my radar only a little bit in the past, only because I know through my business outside of the rugby club, people that have done startups or bringing product to market or things like that, I've kind of sort of been made aware of it, but not really directly through sport. And it was only literally through a kind of email advertisement that was going around about the Sport England and the crowdfunding thing that I kind of got onto it and thought this could be a really good viable option for us to sort of go forward with and try and do a campaign to replace income that we are going to lose from obviously not being open and not being able to have any summer events. So I researched it a little bit more, read up on what you needed to do to meet the Sport England criteria. And obviously I joined one of these webinars myself before I did the campaign, which was really useful. And then after that, we kind of decided, we know what we need to do. We can do this. Let's go for it. So it kind of gathered momentum from there.
Oh, so glad. I'm really happy to hear that it's gone full circle, that you had watched one of the webinars a couple of months ago and now you're back.
Yeah.
Did it? So you made £58,000 on your project, is that right? How much did you get from Sport England of that?
So we got the full £10,000 from Sport England. So we got the maximum. So that was fantastic, really good result. And then we stretched our target, I think 3 times in all over the campaign. So it was a fantastic campaign. It exceeded all our expectations. And we're delighted with the result, but we worked hard to get that result as well, in running the campaign well, which I think is key really to how successful you are.
Yeah. What did you find difficult about running the campaign?
So the first thing I would say from experience was I came off the webinar last time and I'm a bit like gung-ho when I'm doing something, I'm doing it. And I kind of started writing the page and the campaign and putting it together. And probably my advice would be, I was probably a little bit hasty. So you do need to spend the time building your page, make sure your imagery is really strong. You've really got to paint the picture to people outside of your community and outside of cricket, sailing, rugby, swimming, whatever it might be, what you're doing and to get those people on board. So we actually submitted a page, first of all, that wasn't accepted initially by Sport England. They were really helpful on improvements that needed to be made, but I think if I could go back again in hindsight, just really take your time, spend, we've all got other jobs and a lot of people are doing this volunteers, so it's as and when you can, but the time you put into that page and how you present yourself is really key to your campaign. So make sure you get really good imagery. Go and make a video. The video that I went to the ground and made had lots of hits. That was really popular. Obviously, in a video, you can get emotion across and let people see where you are and see the surroundings. We really talked about all our teams, our special needs team, our ladies, our mini and junior. We did a little video with the under 9s speaking on it. Our senior players did a quick 2-minute clip video. So we really built up and sort of painted the picture of this sort of all-encompassing community club and reached out to people on a personal level. And I think that is really key. So just really spend your time really getting your story right and your imagery and your videos on your campaign.
Absolutely. Preparation is key, isn't it, in everything? But I think especially in a crowdfunding campaign, it's so much better just to wait and like another week, just get everything right, get all your ducks in a row and then start.
Yes.
So what did you find worked best, Gemma?
So we normally this time of the year, we'd be asking our parents, members for subs. We have a big mini and junior section, as I said, and that's a big chunk of our income, 300 and odd children paying our subs £110, £100 if you pay early. So, that's kind of £30,000 the mini and junior section alone would normally have coming in. We've not asked for subs this year because obviously we don't know when rugby is restarting competitively. We have slowly returned in the last couple of weeks to COVID-friendly distance training, but not anything how we'd normally be up and running by now. So we knew we weren't going to be able to pull in from the mini and junior section that amount of subs. So to our members, we styled it more that, look, we're not asking you for subs. We know, the current situation. We can't guarantee rugby, but we are doing this campaign. And this is why we're doing this campaign, because in this time off, when the club's quiet, we want to do these capital projects, which will make your club better. Now's the perfect time to do it because we can do the work without, sort of disrupting anybody. So we'd really like you to try and get on board and support these projects. So instead of your subs, would you mind donating to the campaign? So it was almost like a bit of a trade-off, like we're not asking you for X, but could you give Y towards this? And I think once people knew that we weren't just trying to take money and sit with it in the bank because we'd had a pandemic, they knew what that money was for and what it was going towards. The members all bought into it. And actually, when we look back over the campaign, most people donated what would have been their subs amount, if not more, just towards the capital project. So that approach worked really well for our members and subs. We then reached out to the wider community with really just concentrating on what we could give them back. So the reward aspect, as you touched on before in your presentation, we worked hard to really see what rewards we could raise amongst our members, because, you might have a member that's got a business, like we've got a member at the club who's got a really good hand car valeting business locally. So we went to him and asked for car valets. We went to another friend of a member of the club who has a fish and chip restaurant cafe, and we got rewards from him. So we really tried to reach out within our network and beyond of where we could get rewards that kind of appealed to everyone, and some sponsorship rewards within the club. And then we really worked on pushing those out. So I think it's important that if you've got members in your club, whether you've got 20 members or 300 members, if they're on board and they're all trying to drive out for you to one person at work, one family member, so we'd say to people like, everyone's got a grandma and granddad or an aunt or an uncle or a brother and sister. If you can just get that one person to donate £5, £10, that across 300 just mini and junior members is over £10,000 for the campaign. So we kind of challenged everyone to at least get one other person within their network to either buy a reward or donate. And how we do that then in our email communication to our club members, each week the campaign was on, we'd say, have you asked your three? Who's your three? Have you? So we were really constantly challenging our database on who they pushed out to. And then on social media, our Facebook, our Twitter, our Instagram, we really reached out then to kind of local businesses. We'd tag in Stockport, we'd tag in Stockport Council, ask them to retweet it, Stockport Express newspaper. Or we also offered a reward prize for like and share on Facebook. So to get the campaign more visible, we said if everyone liked and shared it, tagged in 3 people, we'd do a prize and we randomly picked a prize winner for that. So that got us like 400 or 500 more Facebook likes and shares on the campaign. So it's really just trying to be creative on how you can get your sort of campaign out there.
Yeah, we had a question from Chantel about that side of things, Gemma. How did Gemma successfully reach so many supporters, social media? I think you've kind of answered that question, but was there anything else you wanted to add to that side of things?
Yeah, no, as I've answered, really, tagging friends, tagging local businesses, pictures speak 1,000 words. So we wouldn't just retweet the sort of crowdfunding campaign link. We might use a team photo of the under-9s and say, we're crowdfunding for our club, and people have got something to look at and sort of latch onto. So it's really nice to use imagery, as we were touching on, when you're building the page, because people really kind of tie into that. So just try and really give people visual stimulation as well on your social media.
And then you can tag all of those people in those posts as well, can't you?
Yeah, exactly.
I hope that answers your question, Chantal. I think, that sounds like it's just absolutely covered everything. It's a really good campaign that you guys ran, Gemma. So who else helped with your campaign? How did you divide up the workload? Did you have a bit of a team there?
Yeah, well, a small team, really. There's another mum from the club who is a little bit more social media savvy than I am. That she's kind of connected to that in her work, but she helps run our Twitter and Facebook social media channels. So she would kindly take the links and say, right, on a Tuesday and a Friday, we're going to push this. Just a little bit of a pointer. You find that if you put it out on a Saturday and a Sunday, it's quite dead in responses. So we'd push out in an evening, because I think we all find that you probably sit and scroll at your phone more in the evening. So after 7 o'clock in the evening, we'd do our kind of retweets and our push out on social media. We do a Friday evening. We wouldn't really do anything over a weekend then, because everyone's busy at a weekend and you're out and about. You probably look at your phone a bit less. And then after 7 on a Sunday night, you can go again then pushing out. So she kind of knew a bit more about timings and algorithms, which is a bit way over my head. So that was really helpful on kind of, knowing when the campaigns worked and when they didn't. And then there's another gentleman at the club who helped us supplied us imagery and video for building the page. But really it came down to myself and Jane who ran the campaign. So, and I think it is possible to do it with 2 of you. You don't need a massive team to do this. You've just got to make sure that you put your work in at the start to really, once you've got your page built and your page is correct, then everything else follows after. Your hard work is at the beginning.
And then you've got that plan and you're giving everyone a clear call to action, all of that good stuff that you were talking about earlier. And we had another question from Pauline. What else did you use other than social media? Not everyone uses it. I think you kind of answered that question again a bit earlier, like giving people those people who are part of the club, like were you sending out emails when you were talking to
so we'd email all our
database,
and then you can't do everything yourself, so you need to put the onus. This is we're trying to fundraise for capital projects for the club. It's your club, as in everyone connected with that club needs to be involved. Although it's me and Jane running the campaign, it's not all on us. So we really try to put responsibility back on past members, present members, by saying, we need your help, your club needs you need to do this. We've got a lot of older ex-members in their 70s, 80s from, eras ago who are not social media savvy. So we said to current members who we knew still spoke to them, you know, go and speak to so-and-so, go and speak to so-and-so, tell them we're doing the campaign, show them they can donate this way, ask them to ask. So it's really just spreading that word within your club. And then, as I said before, challenging your current members. Can you go out and get 3 other people that you know to donate to the campaign? Even if it's only £5, £2, if everybody gets 3 people to donate in some way, it soon gathers momentum. So you've really got to put the onus back on your members to help by spreading the word, you know, in workplace, in social environments, family, friends, you know, you can really spread it out that way.
Oh, I really like that. It's your club. I really like that kind of message. I'm sure you said that in lots of different ways throughout the campaign, but yeah, pushing it back to the members of your club. Yeah, is such a good approach. We've had another question from Mark. What was your initial target? So I know you said you stretched it a few times, Gemma.
Yeah, so our initial target mark was 20,000, because then that would give us the 10 from Sport England as well. So our initial target was 20,000, which I think we hit in about the first 2.5 weeks from memory. Then the Sport England, we got the Sport England money in the wallet because we'd hit 20. So that took us to 30 then. So then we stretched our target again up to 40. And then you will find in your campaign, like, you have a surge of donations at the start because obviously it's new, it's fresh, and you're pushing it and it's keen. And then, you know, you can get a bit of a drop in the middle. Don't be disheartened by that. I think that's quite normal, you know, because you've had your initial definites that donate, and then it takes a couple of weeks for word to spread. And you've just got to use that time to remind people, look, we've hit this, but now we're going for this. You need to go again. You need to, and then it picks up again. And then obviously, as you come towards the end, you can have another busy window, because if you stretch your target, people have got something to aim for. So then we were back onto all the members in the last week saying, this is amazing, you know, we've gone past 40,000, we've now got a week left, we're going to try and hit 50, so come on, let's go, everyone you can, you know, spread the word, dig deep, if anybody else can afford to donate again, or, you know, and we did a big push then to get past the final stretch target. But if you look at our graph, it is kind of a sharp rise at the start, and then it dips down, and then we go up again. So, you know, don't get disheartened in the middle. That's the time just to keep building with your social media, with your emailing, with your pushing. And then those stretch targets really do give people something to focus on. It's also just worth saying as well that we did have, when you look through the comments and the donations, whilst we had a lot of people connected to the area or the club or friends of people, we did have a chunk of donations that we even had a family from New Zealand who just said, love local rugby clubs, you know, the pandemic's really bad for all local, you know, and we had a lot of people just who genuinely love rugby, local clubs, local sport, who just gave £10, £20, £50 just for the campaign, which is absolutely fantastic and heartwarming that you've reached people that don't know you, you know. So again, that goes back to your videos and your initial message being really key in getting people on board.
That's so lovely. And I'm always it always warms my heart to hear how many people just donate as well, and they don't even ask for a reward in return. Like, it is definitely better. We've got so much data to show, like, definitely add rewards if you can. But it's really nice, isn't it? And just to say, absolutely, almost every project has that dip in the middle. It's really, really common. And I don't know if did we talk about it on the webinar that you saw, Gemma? So you were like not too worried about it?
No. Yeah, I knew what to expect. And, you know, it's just a time to regroup. You've stretched your target and then go again. So you can just kind of use that to update your page. Every time you hit your target, you can go back onto your crowdfunding page and do an update, which is again really nice. If it's a photo or a video, it's dead easy just to do an update, and you can be like, amazing, we've hit 20,000, thank you so much, we're now going for X because we want to do our second capital project or whatever it might be. So really keep people involved and on board, because it's quite easy that if a stranger logs onto your page and sees you've hit your target and you've still got 4 weeks left, they might skip by you and go to the next campaign that they're going to donate to. Whereas if you stay ahead and stretch your target and you've got a new update message with, we're going for this now because they'll want to give to you. So, you know, it is like you need to keep that people encouraged to keep giving to you.
And people, we find as well, will pledge again. I don't know if you saw that, but they will pledge again if you tell them, like they might give you another tenner or maybe even more. We
definitely found that at the end when we were pushing in the final week for the second or third stretch to hit the 50k. We had people that had donated week 1 who then came back round and gave again to help us hit that target. So don't be afraid to ask, you know, like people can always not donate or say no, but if it's worded right and everyone, you know, people will give, you know, people do like to get behind it.
Absolutely. I think that's a great tip about the update button. And just finally, Gemma, so much good advice there. Is there anything else, any other bits of advice you'd give to somebody who's about to crowdfund?
I'd just say on the rewards, we said to our members, like, we've got rewards on the page, but this is your club. So we're not saying you can't have the rewards, but we're going to leave it up to you that maybe it'd be nice for somebody who doesn't know the club or isn't connected to it to have the opportunity to have the reward. And I think a lot of the members took that on board and didn't claim the rewards, which was then nice for Joe Public and people that didn't know us to be enticed to donate because the rewards were there. Whereas if all our initial connections and membership database had jumped on and pledged and took the rewards, there wouldn't have been anything left for the wider audience. So, you know, we didn't say you can't have the rewards, but we said the rewards are there for this reason. It's to bring people in from the business community, from the wider community, you know, especially like the sponsorship rewards. And, you know, our membership were very respectful from that. And actually that worked for us because it did bring in, you know, we've now got 3 companies local that have bought into the sponsorship packages rewards that we did that have never had anything to do with the club before, and hopefully they'll stay on board now for the next, you know, 3, 5, 10 years as sponsors, you know. So just try and, you know, I tried to aim the rewards to kind of the wider community and use the rewards for the job that they're there to do.
Fab. Oh, thank you so much, Gemma. That's been brilliant. Honestly, really, really good. So many good tips, amazing advice. I really appreciate your time. Thank you.
Good luck, everyone. Thank you.
Have a fab rest of the day. Bye, Gemma. Bye. So we have hopefully still got Chloe here. We've had a few questions in. So let's have a little look.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you, Chloe. So we've just got a couple left. I think we're running over a bit on time. So the first question is from Jithin. Is there any deadline for this Sport England Active Together funding applications? Is there a deadline? Oh, we have lost Chloe, but I can see her back.
I'm back. Can you hear me now?
Can hear you. We've got you. Yes. So the question, Chloe, was: is there a deadline for this this fund? Is there a deadline for the Active Together funding applications?
There is no official deadline. It's more on a sort of first come first served basis. We had £1 million in the pot to go towards organisations. So far, I think we've given away £625,000, which is amazing. So we still have in the pot, but where once that has run out.
Fab. I don't know if it's my internet or it's your internet, Chloe, but we're cutting out a little bit. But I think everyone would have. We've got you back. You're back. Okay. I think everyone, you've got the gist of that. And we've just posted a link for more information if you want to know more details about that side of things. We're getting a lot of questions about whether or not we'll be able to watch again. Yes, we'll send you a replay link at the end, so you will all have that. And then just, I think probably finally, a question from Tom, are rewards offered as a prize? So maybe we'll just go back through what the rewards are.
Sure. Yeah. So they're not really a prize. It's more of an incentive to encourage people to pledge. So I encourage you to have a look at some of the other projects that are crowdfunding, and you'll see on the side of their screen, there's a donate button, and under that, there's the rewards, which you can pledge on. So I, as a supporter, might want to pledge on, let's say, a gin and tonic in the bar, and then I will put that money towards the target, and I can then claim that gin and tonic when I go to the bar.
Fab, perfect. And a question from Chris, can we include money raised through an event through the crowdfund? We've lost Chloe again. So
Have you?
Oh, you're back. It could be me.
It's probably me. Sorry, my signal is terrible. Yes, you can. Just be aware that any money that you pledge on yourself will only be considered one supporter. And remember, we were talking about the required supporters that you need a certain number. So any money that comes through events, or maybe people give you cash or checks or anything like that, you can pledge that on anonymously yourself, but it will only count as one supporter. So just bear that in mind.
Yeah, and obviously we don't know the circumstances, Chris. You haven't given us any details there, but is there something you could do to create a reward on your campaign to put all of the tickets to that event through the campaign? Because that's going to be a really lovely way of getting to those supporters. If you could sell 50 tickets via your crowdfunder campaign. Okay, so I think that's all the questions we've got time for today. Thank you so much, Chloe. Thank you again to Gemma. It was fab. What are the next steps, Chloe?
Okay, so next steps, I know we've mentioned it a few times, but hopefully you have a little bit more of an understanding of crowdfunding and how it could benefit your organisation. So next is time for you to become an expert. So jump onto our Crowdfund Support Learn page, and it will give you all the tips you need to make the most of your campaign.
Fab. Thank you so much for watching, everyone. Take care, and hopefully we will speak to you all soon. Bye.